think regular health checkups are always a good thing. You might be getting scared sick, then build for the cure. Today, we're exposing the dangerous truth behind senior checkups. Let's get straight to it. Number 12. Listen to your body. Not just the number show. Walk out of your checkup holding a glowing report. Every number is in the green, every chart as perfect as a Pinterest board. And yet, you still feel drained, unmotivated, off. Why? Because paper can't measure peace of mind. It doesn't track the joy you feel sipping your morning coffee, or the calm of hugging your grandchild. Health isn't just about numbers, it's about how you feel living your life. But too often, doctors focus so hard on the printout that they miss the most important signal. What your body's trying to tell you. Sometimes, what you need isn't a pill, it's a walk without pressure, a laugh that shakes the walls, or someone simply asking how you're really doing. There's no lab test for love of life, but without it, even perfect blood work means nothing. Number 11. Perfect reports. Miserable live slits paint a picture. A senior walks into their doctor's office, gets the full checkup, blood test, heart scan, everything. A week later, the results come back. Congratulations. You're in excellent shape for your age, except they're not. They haven't been sleeping. Their appetite is gone. They feel anxious all the time. But since the report says they're healthy, nobody asks the one question that actually matters. Are you okay? Modern medicine loves numbers. It loves tracking cholesterol, glucose, and blood pressure. But it often forgets that humans aren't spreadsheets. You can't measure loneliness with an X-ray. You can't detect hopelessness on an EKG. And no CT scan will ever say, "This patient hasn't laughed in 6 months." This obsession with lab results creates a dangerous illusion. If the numbers look good, you must be fine. But real wellness includes things like purpose, joy, and connection. You know, the stuff that doesn't fit into a test tube. So while your doctor may hand you a report stamped normal, your heart might be whispering something very different. And let's be real, no one ever felt better because a printer told them to. Number 10. False diagnoses. Real consequences. Aim this. You go in for a routine checkup feeling totally fine. The doctor runs some extra tests just in case. And boom, your results come back with something suspicious. Suddenly, you're not a person anymore. You're a potential case. You spend days Googling worst-case scenarios at 2 a.m., weeks bouncing from specialist to specialist, and thousands of dollars on follow-up tests. And guess what? It was a false alarm, a harmless blip, maybe even a lab error. But by that point, the damage is done, not to your body but to your peace of mind. That tiny, accidental red flag just stole 3 months of your life, your sleep, and maybe even your trust in your own body. This is called overdiagnosis, and it's shockingly common, especially in older adults. Modern tests are so sensitive that they'll find problems that would have never affected your life. But once it's found, the system kicks in. Biopsy, medication, surgery, all for something that might have just sat there quietly forever, bothering no one. It's like calling the fire department because your toast got a little too crispy, and next thing you know, they've torn down your whole kitchen. So yeah. Sometimes ignorance is bliss, especially when the alternative is unnecessary panic. In a hospital gown. Number 9. Hooked on health gadgets. Let's talk about the modern senior starter pack smartwatch. On the wrist, blood pressure cuff by the bed, oxygen monitor in the drawer, sleep tracker under the pillow. Oh, and don't forget the smart toilet that analyzes. Well, you get the idea. At this point, your body isn't living, it's being monitored 24/7, like it's on parole. We used to check in with our bodies by, feeling them. Now, people panic because their smartwatch says they only got 83% deep sleep. Never mind that they felt totally rested. The machine said otherwise so clearly. They're broken. This is called health anxiety by technology, and it's a real thing. Devices meant to help you stay healthy can actually make you feel sick, because every fluctuation becomes a cause for alarm. Your heart rate went up while you were watching a suspenseful movie? Must be a heart problem. Better call the cardiologist. Ironically, all this tracking can ruin the one thing that actually improves health. Peace of mind. At some point, you have to ask, are you using the gadget, or is the gadget using you? Because if you need your watch to tell you whether you're allowed to feel okay, maybe it's time to unplug and actually live. Number 8. The too healthy person. You know the type. Eats steamed broccoli, counts every almond, does yoga at 5 a.m., and hasn't touched a slice of cake since 2003. Sounds healthy, right? Maybe, or maybe they're just terrified of getting sick. Welcome to the world of hyper-health anxiety, where seniors live like lab rats, trying to avoid one more test result with the word elevated. Sure, avoiding salt and sugar can be good in moderation, but when every meal feels like a chemistry exam and every sneeze triggers a panic attack, you're not living healthy, you're living scared. And here's the twisted part. The more you obsess over staying healthy, the more unhealthy you become. Stress skyrockets, joy plummets. You start avoiding birthday parties because someone might serve soda. You can't go out to eat without interrogating the waiter like a food scientist on a crime show. Health isn't supposed to feel like punishment. Yet some people turn their entire life into a never-ending checkup. At that point, you're not avoiding death, you're just rehearsing it slowly, salad by salad. So yes, stay informed, eat your greens. But don't forget laughter, freedom, and a little bit of chocolate now and then might just keep you alive longer than your vitamin regimen. Number 7. The walking prescription list. You go in for a basic checkup, just routine stuff. Blood pressure, cholesterol, the usual pokes and prods. But you come out with a bag of prescriptions heavy enough to set off a TSA alarm. Congratulations, you've officially become a walking medicine cabinet. It starts small. Let's lower that borderline cholesterol. Then, this one's to counter the side effects of that one. And before you know it, you're on 5 different pills, none of which you even knew you needed. This phenomenon is called polypharmacy, and it hits older adults like a ton of Advil. The average senior in the US takes 4 or more prescriptions a day. Many take 10, some of them completely unnecessary. Why does this happen? Partly because healthcare is so specialized now that every new symptom sends you to a different ologist, and each ologist prescribes something new without checking what the last ologist gave you. It's like letting 10 different chefs make your dinner without ever tasting the soup first. And don't even get me started on side effects. Half the time, the new symptoms you're treating are just side effects from the old medications. But hey, at least the pharmacy loves you. Bottom line, if your daily routine sounds like wake up, take pills, eat, take pills, breathe, take pills, it might be time to ask not what more you need, but what you can stop. Number 6. Early detection. Overreactionogen finding a tiny crack in your driveway. It's barely noticeable, but instead of patching it up, you bring in a demolition crew, tear up the whole yard, and rebuild the entire street just in case. That's what modern medicine often does with early detection. Sounds responsible, right? Catch things early, treat them fast, save lives, except not always. In seniors, early detection often becomes overreaction. You get diagnosed with something tiny, slow-growing, and maybe completely harmless, but the moment it's found, the panic button gets smashed. Doctors feel pressured to do something, even if that something might not be necessary. So now you're on medications or undergoing a procedure for a condition that might never have affected your life at all. Take prostate cancer in older men, for example. Many forms grow so slowly that the patient will likely die with it, not from it. But the moment a test detects it, treatment begins, often with serious side effects. The same goes for small lung nodules, thyroid incidentalomas, or harmless arrhythmias. The system isn't great at saying, let's just keep an eye on that. It prefers, let's treat it before it becomes a lawsuit. But treating something that isn't dangerous, that's not medicine. That's just playing doctor with your body. So before you rush to fix every microscopic issue on your scan, maybe ask, am I solving a problem or creating one? Number 5. Scan first. Think later. Let's play a game called How Many Machines Can We Plug You Into? Because that's what a lot of modern checkups have become, an all-you-can-scan buffet. CT scans, MRIs, PET scans. If it buzzes, beeps, or glows in the dark, someone wants to run it on you. And sure, medical imaging can save lives. But here's the twist. Too much scanning can actually be dangerous. Radiation exposure from frequent CT scans builds up over time. And unless your body is secretly auditioning for a Marvel movie, you don't want to be glowing on the inside. But even beyond radiation risks, there's another issue: incidental findings. These are random spots, shadows, or nodules that show up on scans, and most of the time, they mean absolutely nothing. But now that they've been spotted, say hello to more tests, more anxiety, and maybe a biopsy you never needed. It's like looking at a dusty corner in your attic and calling in a full SWAT team just in case it's haunted. And you know, what's even more ironic? All this scanning hasn't dramatically improved long-term survival in routine screenings for many conditions in seniors. But it has made a lot of people panic and a lot of imaging companies very rich. So next time someone says, let's just take a look, maybe respond with, let's just think first. Number 4. The more you know, the more you worry. Let's be real sometimes. Knowing too much is the worst kind of knowledge, especially when it comes with medical jargon, vague test results, and the phrase "we'll need to monitor that." This is the paradox of modern health screenings. You feel fine. You go in just to be safe. Then they find something tiny, meaningless, and suddenly boom, you're Googling your own autopsy. Welcome to information-induced anxiety, where peace of mind goes to die under a mountain of test results. See, our brains weren't built to handle this kind of uncertainty. We crave clarity. But medicine, it loves gray areas. You'll hear things like it's probably nothing, but we can't be sure, which is code for you won't sleep for the next 6 weeks, and because you're human, you fixate. That one sentence from the doctor, slightly elevated enzyme, plays on a loop in your head like a horror movie trailer. You start interpreting every twitch, ache, and burp as a sign you weren't sick before. But now, you've got a new full-time job. Patient-in-waiting. The cruel irony, you went in to feel better. You came out less healthy, mentally and emotionally. So before you sign up for the next total body scan, remember, just because you can know something doesn't mean you should. Sometimes, ignorance isn't bliss, but it sure beats living in a constant state of what if. Number 3. Warped definitions of normal. Imagine this. You walk into a clinic, feeling totally fine. The nurse takes your blood pressure. The doctor looks at your cholesterol, and suddenly you're told you're outside the normal range. Cue panic, prescriptions, and maybe a lifestyle overhaul you didn't ask for. But here's the kicker. Normal doesn't always mean healthy, and it definitely doesn't always mean you're normal. Medical normal ranges are based on population averages. But newsflash, you are not a population. You're a 72-year-old who's been eating oatmeal and minding your business since Nixon was in office. Your numbers are going to look different, and that's okay. Take blood pressure, for example. A reading of 140/90 might be high for a 30-year-old athlete, but totally fine, even ideal for a healthy 80-year-old. But because the chart says high, you get labeled, medicated, and told to start worrying. It's like telling every human to wear the same shoe size because it's average. Yeah, good luck jogging in that. This obsession with arbitrary ranges leads to over-medicalization, treating perfectly fine aging processes as diseases. Your bones creak, osteoarthritis. Your memory slips sometimes, early dementia. You're tired at 9 p.m., clearly chronic fatigue. Sometimes, aging is just aging. Not a diagnosis, not a problem. Just your body being honest. So next time a doctor says you're outside the normal range, maybe ask, whose range are we talking about? And does it come in size me? Number 2. Doctors or salespeople? Let's set the scene. You walk into a clinic for a basic checkup. No pain, no problems, just a little curiosity and a lot of free time. But somewhere between the blood pressure cuff and the stethoscope, things take a strange turn. Suddenly, you're being recommended an executive package with 8 blood panels, 2 ultrasounds, a DNA test, and something called a cardio stress echo, which sounds like a yoga move for your arteries. Wait, what happened to just checking in? Welcome to the business of medicine, where some doctors sound less like healers and more like upsellers. Would you like to add a vitamin D panel with that? Have you considered a full body scan for only $799? It's not entirely their fault. The system rewards volume over value. Clinics are under pressure to generate revenue. So instead of how are you feeling today, you get how many tests can we run today. And the more they test, the more likely they'll find something odd, which, surprise, leads to more tests, more pills, more appointments, more bills. It's like going in for a haircut and being told you also need eyebrow threading, scalp detox, and a full head MRI just to be safe. So next time your doctor pulls out the sales pitch, remember, the goal is health, not a subscription to medical Netflix. Number 1. The senior checkup obsession. Let's be honest. At a certain age, going to the doctor becomes a full-time hobby. Some folks check their blood pressure more often than their email. If you ask what day it is, they'll tell you based on their appointment schedule. Oh, it's Tuesday, I get my thyroid poked today. Now don't get me wrong, preventive care is important. But for many seniors, routine checkups morph into rituals of anxiety, not wellness. It's less about staying healthy and more about not missing anything that could go wrong. You're not just looking for peace of mind anymore. You're hunting for it like Bigfoot, costly, elusive, and probably living in a scan somewhere. But here's the trap. The more you check, the more you find. The more you find, the more you treat. And the more you treat, well, let's just say pharmacies aren't complaining. This culture of constant monitoring trains people to feel broken unless a lab slip tells them otherwise. It replaces intuition with instruction. Do I feel okay? Becomes what did the doctor say? And in the process, people forget how to trust themselves. So before you book that third follow-up to your follow-up, maybe ask, am I maintaining my health or just managing my fear? Because the ultimate irony, in the name of staying alive longer, we've forgotten how to live at all. That's all for today. I'll be making more videos like this in the future. Hit subscribe so you don't miss out.